y'all. I said this man ain't gonna never pay for nothing he done did. But I'm gonna give y'all a quick summary and then we're gonna dive into this review. Cause Martin did it. He did it. We knew it. We called it. But hold on, y'all. Okay, so Ronnie and Martin working together, y'all. He changed the wheel because he's trying to get back at Tracy. He told Ronnie that if she say anything, that she going to jail. What he said? I think he said she was going to jail or whatever. So she got to keep her mouth closed and she has to sell the house to Drew. And she did. By the end of the episode, she decided. Ned convinced Tracy to go back to the house to make peace, but it's too little too late. Michael got Jacinda a job at Crimson. Now Nina finna get ready to pay her off so she won't be Michael's alibi anymore. Nina want to clear Willow's name. Jordan tells Curtis that Portia's pregnant. Now he's trying to find her. I said, now you go looking for her at the hospital. She done been laid up at the hospital, kissing at the hospital, cheating on you at the hospital, and now you want to show up. Now you want to pick and choose. Isaiah gave Portia a key to his cabin. Brendan wants Anna to prove that she could be trusted. I said, hopefully Jason don't tell her that he told Carly. Because that may be a way that she could prove herself. Now, I don't know if that's going to be it or what, but I said, Jason, keep your mouth closed now. But yeah, Jason knows that Carly's up to something. Carly trying to convince Brandon to bring Valentine closer. I said, Lulu's going to be highly upset, girl. She going to be highly upset, but that's it, y'all. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another review of Life of Chesses for General Hospital, October 28, 2025. First thing first, let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. What y'all think? Are y'all shocked that Martin was involved? Are y'all shocked that Martin was the one who changed the wheel? Because somebody was saying, well, a few people were saying they don't think that, Monica's wheel was changed. Some people were saying they don't think that Ronnie was in cahoots with Martin. She was. However, he went to her, he wrote to her, whatever. And at first she told him no. But after her interaction with Tracy, she decided to get on board. He ended up poisoning her and trying to make it seem like Tracy did, and she realized it or whatever. But yeah, let's get into it. First, we're gonna start with Curtis and Jordan. So he was still talking about how he want to be with her, and this time it's gonna be different and stuff. And she was like, "Okay, this time it really is gonna be different because I can't keep secrets." But then when your secret, I don't think that applies now. It'll be different. I don't know, y'all. I really don't know because they don't, he was mad about secrets and stuff like that. But they don't concern her, and she didn't know if it was true or not. She didn't know if it was true or not. But she was like, this time it will be different because, no more secrets. So she ends up revealing that Portia's pregnant. He's like, no, we hadn't been together except that one time. And she was like, all it takes is one time. I said, possibly. Possibly, or it's Isaiah. I'm surprised they didn't put two and two together. But yeah, he was like, are you sure? And she was like, no, to be honest, I'm not sure. But, she got sick at the party. She wanted herbal tea and all this other stuff, and I confronted her, and she didn't deny it or whatever. She ended up leaving. And he was like, what? Oh, and she was like, I understand, I'll wait. Basically, she gonna allow him to make his decision and decide who he want. But he basically did. He just made his decision. He was like, I wonder why she wouldn't tell me. He was like, maybe she planned on getting rid of the baby or whatever, or not keeping the baby. So he leaves. He apologizes and he leaves or whatever. And she like, she's so disappointed. She did admit that she'd been waiting on him to get back with her or whatever. So Portia technically wasn't wrong. But she still was a cheater. She still is a cheater anyways. I want to know why she wanted to meet over Ava. Because I don't even think I wrote that down. Why she wanted to meet over Ava? What she got going on? I don't know. Why she want to meet over Ava? What she gonna help her with? That they be friends with everybody? They pick and choose. They really do. But yeah, let's see. He ends up leaving. So he went to the hospital. And I said, now, your wife done be laid up with this man. She done accuse you of doing something you didn't do yet or whatever. And she done did it. She was laid up in that very room. And you done took your tail to the doggone hospital now. It's too late. So then he sees Isaiah to my son. Hey, you seen my wife? I said, and then the look on Isaiah's face. I said, look at you. You done laid up with her, possibly got her pregnant. You done gave her a key to your cabin, and you done created this fantasy in your head or whatever about y'all being together. But what he just said, his wife. Hey, you seen my wife? That's what he said. I said, the look on his face. And they supposed to get into it on tomorrow's episode. Or at least that's what the spoilers say. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, next we got Brendan and Anna. So he goes to her and tell her she's been denied because she put in a request to go see Valentine. He was like, I told you tried to go over my head and you still got denied. And I told you can't be involved and stuff because I don't trust you. I said, nobody trusts you. And so Carly, she did at first anyways. But yeah, he denies her request to see Valentine. She was trying to explain once again that she knows what's his name, Faison, better than anybody. And he was saying how, he realizes that or whatever, but he still don't trust her. But there's a way that he'll let her in, and she could do something to prove that she can be trusted. So I'm wondering, what is going to be the way? What is he going to do? And why? I know why he don't want her to know, because he's trying to get whatever Faison working on for himself. That's what he said. That's what he said, didn't he? Y'all remember that episode? Yeah, I remember that episode when he was like, he wants to get it for himself, whatever Dalton and working on, he want to get it and use it for himself or whatever. Act like he doing it for the greater good or something. But yeah, he want her to do something to prove it. And I was like, when Jason came in there, I said, Jason, don't tell that you told Carly. I said, don't tell it. There might be one way, because they over here trying to take him down and stuff like that. Or maybe Anna gonna find out about Carly and Valentine working together. Like, I don't know how, it's gonna happen, but I feel like Carly gonna get caught slipping. But yeah, Brennan and Anna, I think the last thing was that he told her that she has to show that she can be trusted or whatever. Jason and Carly, he ended up confronting her because he wanted to know why she been avoiding him. She was like, she ain't been avoiding him and stuff like that. And she was like, she meeting up with Brendan. He was shocked. He was like, why are you still with him? And why didn't you tell Josh? And she gave an excuse for why she didn't tell Josh. So he's like, why didn't you tell Brendan? And she gave a load of baloney, and he know her so well. He was like, you up to something. He was like, try again. And she told him something, but I'm sure that he know that if she ain't up to something, she's about to be. That's why he went to Anna. He went to Anna, and he was like, he got to get Jocelyn out the WSB or whatever. And she was like, the only way they could do that is if they can't really get her out, but they can get her reassigned, because Brennan would take on any, dangerous thing. He definitely will. He didn't care nothing about that being her daughter. He didn't care. He put her in danger, even to Corlette, even though she was a double agent and she was clearly up to something. She told him to pull him out. He was like, you didn't hear from him or whatever, you need to pull him out right now. She's inexperienced. Why did you send her in to begin with? Because he's so desperate to get whatever they've been working on. He's so desperate to get whatever they've been working on or whatever. So yeah, he all for himself. He like Carly Love or whatever you want to call it, but at the same time, not more than whatever he got going on. Not more than that, because he would have been came clean. He done had every opportunity. Now she finna do something stupid where he gonna have to do something stupid back to her. He gonna have to threaten her or something. He gonna have to do. Watch. Hold on. But yeah, let's see. I only think I wrote down Carly and Brendan. I didn't write down Carly and Brendan. So they ended up meeting up. He wanted to know what Jason said, and she was just saying how he still has his feelings about them being together or whatever. Then she switched the conversation by bringing up Charlotte, going to see Valentine and stuff, and Lulu this and Lulu that. So she mentioned something about, it not happening again because it's so far or whatever. So he was like, I was actually hoping to schedule some more visits because I didn't get what I wanted out of Valentine yet. So she suggested that he relocate Valentine closer to home. This fool gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Now I'll be shocked if he don't do it, but I feel like for the purpose of whatever Carly and Valentine finna do, they gonna relocate him. I said, Lulu's gonna be highly upset. I said, sir's all right, running around trying to be Inspector Gadget and stuff, don't know what she talking about. Over here writing articles and pointing the blame. So I'm assuming she did write that article about Michael. Because Nina was telling Michael about an article, and he was like, they didn't say a name or anything like that. I said, Michael, a bad criminal. He needs to stick to running the ELQ. He don't sit up here and hire escort to sit up here and be his alibi. She over here being bought already. Now I don't know if she just taking the money from Nina or what, or she gonna turn around and give it back or what. But at the same time, he don't sit up here and told too much to Brooklyn. He don't told too much to, who else did he say it to? I know Brooklyn, Chase, and then he was talking in front of Dante and stuff like that, and Lulu and Lucy heard. I said, you need to stick to doing what you was doing at first. You need to leave it to Jason and Sonny. What the world? But yeah, who we got next? Ava and Nina. They was talking about Willow, and she was explaining why she had to, drop the alibi and stuff like that. She was just trying to help, but Willow don't see it. She talking about she hate her, and they was trying to, Nina was trying to come up with a way to help clear Willow's name or whatever. And this fool Michael gonna walk in with just send it, and I was like, And I said that's why Ava was encouraging her to actually hire her as an assistant. I said, Michael, you be over here trying to outsmart people, and they be outsmarting you. Now I don't know until tomorrow's episode what's gonna happen, but we'll see. But yeah, like I said, Ava and Nina was talking about Willow. Michael and Jacinda was talking, and he wanted her get her to work at Crimson. She was trying to explain that Nina's the one that paid her the poison juice. So I guess he thought that would help or something. He went in there and told her, and they was going back and forth about whether or not to hire her. So he's like, me and Ava finna get ready to go so y'all can talk. So she was telling her, her requirements and stuff like that, and then she had an idea. She takes out her checkbook and says she want her daughter free, and no amount is too, big or too small or whatever. She willing to pay anything for her to stop being Michael's alibi. Now they didn't show it, but they did show on tomorrow's episode where Nina's supposed to tell Drew how Jacinda is not Michael's alibi anymore. And I said, now when are these people gonna pay? What's going on now? And I thought around this time now, it's been about time now. What the world going on? I said I was really hoping that it was about to come to an end. That Drew was about to pay for everything, and they was gonna reveal what he's really up to, because he too desperate over here. Something ain't right. Just like something ain't right with Nathan, something ain't right with him either. And I thought for sure by now they'd be doing it, but so far he's still continuing to win. They about to get him this doggone house and everything. But yeah, like I said, I think that was the end of Nina and Jacinda scene. Tracy, Ned, Olivia, they end up meeting. Olivia was trying to talk to Tracy about going to make peace and stuff like that. Ned ends up convincing Tracy that, you got to play the long game or whatever. Go make nice or whatever. And like right now, we don't know who she is or who actually poisoned her or anything like that. That don't matter. But you got to get back in the house. She got back in the house temporarily. She got back in the house long enough to say she wanted to make peace and stuff. Ronnie ended up agreeing. Wait, I skipped too far. Hold on. But yeah, Michael ended up coming, and they all was saying the same thing. He was like, he's not too sure about Ronnie just yet. He hasn't made up his mind about her. So meanwhile, over here at the Quartermains, or at Drew's place now, So Martin, they was pretending at first. She asked him what he was doing there. He was like, he trying to convince her to sell the house. So next thing you know, they go behind the closed door. They close the door, and she was like, "What are you doing here? You gonna ruin it?" She was just like, "What are you doing here?" Stuff like that. What if somebody sees you and figure out we working together and all this other stuff? And I was like, there it is. Now I didn't expect her to be like, she wasn't on board with all this other stuff that he got going on. But yeah, they working together, y'all. They working together. Once again, I know some people were saying how they didn't think that they was working together. Yeah, Martin ended up revealing, basically, he got this vendetta out against Tracy. He ain't worried about all the other people. He just focused on Tracy. And if he can stick it to her, that's what he gonna do. So she was like, she don't like Tracy either because how she treat people, but, she don't think that they deserve this because they been kind. I said, now everybody in that house got to move out because Drew finna kick everybody out. And that's why I said he continues to get away with everything. Well, yeah, Martin, hold on. Martin want to convince Ronnie to sell the house. I gotta find it, y'all. Make sure I cover everything that they said. I said, yep, Ronnie and Martin working together. Let me find it. Martin put Ronnie in the wheel. He's the one who did it. He was telling her how, his basically it can't be traced back to him. But wouldn't they have to explain who changed the wheel? Couldn't he get got like that? Couldn't she show that he reached out? I don't know if that'll be enough to get him or not, but yeah, I was like, now everybody got to get the stuff. Everybody got to get the packet. That's a lot of people in there got to leave, ain't it? But the good thing is, like they said, like Martin said, they all got enough money to get their own place. But yeah, let's see, hold on. Martin put Ronnie in the wheel. What else happened? Ronnie didn't want to do it. She revealed that she didn't want to do it when he first reached out, but she ended up having this interaction with Tracy at the crypt or whatever, and that's what led her to go along with it. But she was like, things had gotten too far out of hand. She wanted to do the right thing and come forward and let them know. He was like, no, you're going to keep your mouth shut because, they can't trace it back to me, but they can trace it back to you, and you going to jail. I'm going to make sure you go to jail. Not only are you going to keep your mouth shut, but you going to sell this house to Drew. And she was like, she not going to do it or whatever. And he don't deserve it. His main focus is because Tracy ruined his life. That's his whole thing. Tracy ruined his life. Now he's trying to ruin their life. Now he's trying to ruin their life or whatever, or ruin Tracy's life and everything. So he took out the document and she signed it. She had to sign it because next thing you know, they show her. She looked like she was upset. Tracy and them came in. She was saying how she wanted to make peace. Ronnie agreed. So she was like, she made the decision to sell the house. Tracy ended up saying over her dead body. And they supposed to be arguing about it and stuff. Now, when they showed the promo yesterday, when they showed her confronting somebody, I thought for sure they made it look like, that's what I be saying. They be combining these doggone clips. They made it look like she was going off on Martin in front of everybody. Tracy and them was looking and stuff like that. No. It did not happen like that. It definitely did not. But yeah, Ronnie said she hates deceiving everyone aside from Tracy because Tracy is Tracy, and everybody can't handle Tracy because of her mouth. That's it. But yeah, look like she signed it. So I was like, no. Oh wait, I skipped the part. Ronnie realized that Martin's the one that spiked her drink and that he wanted her to think that it was Tracy and stuff like that. He wants revenge on Tracy. If she say anything or don't sell the house, she loses her freedom. So she signed, I'm assuming. What else? I think that was the end of their scene. Ronnie, Martin, Jason, Anna. He already went to her. I already said he went to her about Jocelyn and stuff like that. She was like, they got to find a way to get her reassigned or get him from, being her boss and stuff like that because he going to put her in danger. Curtis Isaiah, he went to the hospital looking for Portia. He was like, he looking for his wife. They're supposed to get into it, or at least that's what they've been saying, that they're supposed to get into it. I think that was the last thing, y'all. I think that's it. Let me see. Brendan want to arrange more visits with Charlotte and Valentine. Yeah, that's it. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, dudes, have a great rest of the day and be safe. Excuse me.